Welcome back to QTV. We're very lucky tonight to be joined on the couch by State LNP member for Brisbane Central, Robert Cavallucci. Hi Rob, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we've got a couple of questions for you tonight. To kick it off, Sharon,
we want
away.
to focus on your political career and as well as your involvement with the LGBTI community. So we've asked people to send in some questions. We'll ask you a few of those tonight. What I want to know is, before you were elected and since you were elected, what sort of future plans have you got for the LGBTI community?
Well, since I've been elected, I've basically undertaken as much engagement as I possibly could with not only the LGBTIQ community in my electorate, but all communities in my electorate. I've spent a lot of time in relation to LGBTIQ going to Big Gay Day, Pride Festival, Queen's Ball. I was at the launch of this very program at the Wickham the other night as well. I have assisted in getting grants for the Gay and Lesbian Business Network, and I attend their monthly events, and as well have supported the Transgender Support Network with sort of hampers and prizes to raffle, and so that I can support them as well. So I've made every effort to engage with the LGBTI community in my electorate since being elected, and did the same thing prior as well. So
that's wonderful.
Okay, hello. Why do you think the LGBTI community should work with and support the LNP government? And do you think there are enough voices speaking up to ensure the protection of future rights for the LGBTI community?
Well, I think any community that is looking to achieve change of whatever description needs to work with government, and to not work with the government of the day is really doing a disservice to their own community. I think if you are looking for change, whatever that may be, you really should take the time to encourage the members of your community to engage with the government. In terms of the second part of the question, I think you can never have enough voices, I guess, is probably the best answer to that question. But again, if you want to have more voices, you have to take the initiative and engage with the government. Because unless you do so, and you're just not going to have those voices have the confidence to emerge and participate in the discussion. They're just going to remain behind closed doors and not really take the initiative to really assist you on your journey of change.
And what would you say is the best way for them to engage with the government?
I guess, like members of my community, they pick up the phone, they email, they call me, I call them. As I've said in the previous question, I go to your community events, and I'm there. I'm available. I can be spoken to. I'm happy to be criticised. I'm happy to be convinced. I'm happy to participate in all forms of discussion. So just make yourself available. So that's the best way to do it.
Okay. Great. Well, as the viewers may be aware, we requested people to send in their questions for Robert via Twitter. Now, James Holgren wanted to know how you were working to support other LNP members who support marriage equality and helping to change the LNP policy on the issue. So I suppose the first thing to get out of that is, do you support marriage equality?
Yeah, I guess I'm someone with particularly progressive views on marriage equality. So yes, I do support it. Yep, sorry.
Say that's great to hear. Yeah. And are there other members of the party in Queensland, particularly, that that support it as well? Well,
again, I can't specifically speak on behalf of my colleagues, whether they be state or whether they be federal, but the state LNP members represent a real diverse group of electorates. We have members from the Cape down to Coolangatta and everywhere in between. And not every electorate is like the inner city of Brisbane, which I represent. That we come from such diverse backgrounds and we come from such diverse electorates. I think some of us have particular views and some have completely opposing views. But again, I can't really answer specifically on the views of my colleagues. Again, best to engage with them and get an understanding of them as your representatives.
Okay. Can we expect to see them joining you in any sort of support for the LGBT community?
Yeah, I think I've had this conversation with you before. For the next Queen's Ball, I'm definitely going to invite a bunch of my colleagues to come along with me this year, as I sat with you at your table last year, and I'm happy to bring some of my colleagues along. So,
excellent. Well,
yeah,
I'll be
great
there,
night.
so I'll see you there. But what I want to know about is adoption. What's your stance on adoption for gay families?
Well, I guess the legislation you're referring to is the legislation introduced in 2009 by the former government. As you know, this government hasn't made any changes to that legislation, but the only person who can really guide any changes to that legislation is the Minister for Communities. So, in terms of changing that legislation, that really comes under the purview of the Minister, so I can't really provide you any specific feedback on that. But if you're after my personal comment or my personal point of view, then I think that there are some elements of it that potentially could be changed. But again, that's my personal point of view, and it's not party policy. Really, any change is under the auspices of the Minister.
Yeah.
And so you do support same-sex adoption rights for same-sex couples?
Yeah, in line with my previous comment, yeah.
Okay, so one of the most popular questions we've had via Twitter and Facebook is focused around the cut of the sexual health clinic Biala. We had two people, Q Public Servant and Flat Earth Gang on Twitter, both ask whether you support the closure of the Biala sexual health clinic.
Quickly?
Yeah, sorry?
Just quickly, what do you think about that?
Quickly, we went to the last election with a clear mandate in relation to local service delivery of health services. That was to hand over responsibility of that delivery to local hospital boards. And in this case, the closure was undertaken by the hospital board. It was not the Minister. And the hospital board has the decision-making power in relation to that. In relation to the HIV/AIDS component of the service delivery, the delivery of those services come under the auspices of the Ministerial Advisory Body. They have said that they will retain those services there, and there's currently a review being undertaken as we speak about the staffing requirements to ensure the delivery of those services at the location.
Okay. I think I want to do something quickly. What do you guys think?
I do. Now, Rob, we've got a little something we've devised here. It's the QTV Quick 6. Now, would you mind doing our quick 6 questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Super quick.
Super quick.
Super
We've got
quick.
less than 60 seconds to get them out and get them answered. Completely taking you by surprise here, no rehearsing. So first thing that comes to your mind, first answers. You ready to go?
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. What was your first music concert you attended?
Bon Jovi.
Which LNP member would make the best drag queen?
Jared Blay.
What's your favourite colour?
Blue.
Not green.
No.
And you're trapped in a padded room with somebody. Is it Gillard or Catter?
Neither.
You got to pick one.
Oh, Gillard.
What did you have for breakfast?
Oats.
Okay. And is Tony Abbott's obsession with budgie smugglers an attempt to turn gay men straight?
Probably.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much for participating in that part of the interview as well. But it's been great having you on the couch and getting your responses there. And I really hope that people have managed to take something away from our time with you tonight. And obviously they know that if they do want to get in touch with you to discuss anything from tonight, they can contact your office.
Sure.
Obviously you are also available on Facebook and on Twitter, as you can find all of us to convey any of your feedback as well. We'll be back after this very short commercial break here on QTV. Thank you very much, Rob Cavalici.
You're welcome. Thanks
State
for having
Member
me.
for Brisbane Central.